though, welcome to another hot episode of the POPcast. My name is Miss Cosmo, as I am every single week.
Yes,
I'm not rolling alone, of course. I am with my homie Moochie for one, baby.
Please up, say the good? Baby. I'm chilling. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm alright.
Yes, sir.
Today we are joined by guest DJ. DJ Zero. So DJ Zero, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure, man.
Yeah, man, we're just going to be getting down and dirty with what's been happening on the pop streets this past week. Yeah. But of course, we do have to give a shout out to our venue for today. We are out at Club Nostra in Bryanston. So if you have partied in the north of Johannesburg, you need to come down. I don't say up, down. Because you must come down the stairs. In case you're not sure, maybe if someone's directing you, you think maybe someone's trying to kidnap you or something. Don't worry, you're just coming to the right place of the right spaces. This is Nostra out in Bryanston.
First you must arrive and then you must arrive.
Yes.
When you come to Nostra, ask about it. It is by, what's this place called? Post House.
Yes.
Post House Link Shopping Center, which is where Jameli is, if you're familiar with the Joburg area. But it's at the underground parking.
Yeah.
Just by the by.
Yeah. Wow. What's that, honey? Why are you acting like it's not nice when you're here?
No, it's nice. That's the problem. Everything that's associated with the devil.
Yes. So your problem is that you don't want to go home when you come here. Yeah. But that's the point.
I think people don't want to go home when they get here because they just don't know how to get home anymore. They're like, I don't know how I even got down here. I don't know how to go back. I need somebody to assist me.
Exactly. And I think also the problem is that sometimes when you're down, you also don't know what time it is. And then you look at your watch, you're like, oh, it's 5?
That time there's no network, ne?
Exactly.
That's good. Partying with no network is the way.
Exactly. So you can stop posting on the Instagrams. We'll see them tomorrow morning. 1000%. All right. So, yeah, man, come through. Come check it out. Nostra is the place to be. But, of course, we do have some things that we need to just kind of get in down and dirty with what happened this past week. Of course, we did send our condolences both to AKA as well as to Tibz's families last week. Yeah. The memorials did happen this past week, though. Did you attend either of them?
I didn't attend, but I did watch. I couldn't go to either one of them, but I did watch, I think, almost in its entirety, AKA's one, especially on Friday. I tuned in shortly for one Yaga Tibz the day before on Thursday. And yeah, man, to say about AKA's ones more, because I literally watched the entire thing, it was very touching. And also had moments where there was good energy. And it's a weird thing to say about a memorial, but all these collaborators, and again, we're constantly reminded about his catalog. Yeah, I'm saying, which is, I mean, that was just a taster of everything that he's done. You know, they try to fit in as many people. A lot of his close collaborators as well are like some of his closest friends. So everybody just to get a chance to, for 2 seconds, yeah, just to be able to pay their respects best way that they know how, which is through the music. I thought that was really, really dope, man. And I thought a lot of his friends and family spoke very, very well about him. Yeah. And of course, there were those small moments. Of course, one of the most talkable ones, talked about ones, the one with Sim Dope. Yeah. Where half the country, I guess, found out that Sim Dope is a real person. Most people were seeing him for the first time. You know, he's a quiet guy, but he's not really that public on social media even as well. I thought that was like a small, little, nice moment from it where there's this big realization, and then of course that's going down into its own memory, own rabbit hole of people talking about. But yeah, other than that, man, I think the realization then that day, and of course his funeral, really realizing that Keenan, AKA, is gone was it was very real. It was very sobering after the fact.
It's crazy.
Did you watch Memorial?
I was there actually.
Oh, okay.
I saw you from a distance. But I think the biggest moment for me was when the band was playing alone and they played the audio from him performing. Man. It was like,
yes, I remember that.
Rock up from backstage and stop performing. It was crazy. Because you keep wanting to see him on the stage because the band is there. Yeah. But hey,
it was definitely very emotional. I attended both of them. Tibz's one was obviously a lot more sentimental, a lot more private. Obviously, a lot of his close friends, a lot of his close colleagues that he had worked with as well. Yeah. So it also just felt like a little bit of a reunion because I saw so many people I haven't seen in so long. Of course. But it's also just showing testament to how many people that Tibz had worked with, but also how many lives he had touched as well. Yeah. And seeing young and old obviously coming through, and you're just like, whoa, man, like. it's at moments like these where you realize somebody's impact, and it was so heart-wrenching to kind of see and hear all the different stories, and when you hear the nuances that are being spoken about, you're just like, that's actually who he was. Like so Tibz's memorial, definitely very sentimental, very to the heart. AKA's as well, but of course being there was a little bit different to watching it,
of course,
because obviously I had been on social media afterwards and I was just like, what are people whining about? Like, people just need to relax, bro.
Of course.
And I think obviously being there was different because I was just there in the moment, feeling the emotions.
Yeah.
Whereas you're watching it, you're seeing different cutaways. I obviously didn't see, for instance, that moment where Cairo went to go and hug Nadia. I only saw that post because I obviously saw it on social media. So all of that was just a little, surreal. But like Aziro's mentioning, just hearing the band play, hearing his voice, expecting him to jump out, which was also just very like, okay, this is weird now.
It was tricky.
It's so tricky to kind of be in that moment. You're watching everybody cry, but you're watching everybody laugh to the jokes. The person who made me cry the most, I think, was Yanga. Yanga's speech.
I think he was crying throughout his entire speech, but like in a way where he was like, okay, I'm gonna let these emotions flow, but I'm gonna say what I need to say. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people are like, he was like, let me gather myself. It's like, nah, I'm just going to talk through this, through the emotions. And I thought, man, it was definitely one of those that I heard and was like, you could feel the pain in his,
all the emotions were definitely going up and down in that room. As big as it was, I think everybody was just like, I can't believe this is happening. Even worse was when I saw Tira jump on stage and he performed Free, and I was like, he's the only person left on that song. Because Ricky's no longer
exactly
with
what
us.
People were saying on social media at the time.
no longer with us. I was just like, oh my gosh. That moment for me, I was like, what a surreal moment to actually have, especially on that stage, watching everybody jump on, expecting him to do his verse, and it's just not happening. It was, it gave me goosebumps the entire time. Like,
absolutely, man. And another moment that I saw, people's deaths bring all types of emotions from everybody, whether you like the person or didn't like the person, vibed with them, didn't vibe with them, bringing up old and new stories about certain people. One moment that I did like, and I think it was on Tib's side, which is what you said was right. It was more private. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he's not AKA, but as a guy behind the scenes would help so many people, including yourself. And those tributes coming in, there was a couple of posts that I'd seen from some people that were close to him who had drifted away from him. And I thought it was very good, or very, I don't want to say admirable, but real, that some people were able to give respects and still say, we've drifted apart over the years and we didn't speak as much as we used to or chill as much as we used to for whatever personal reasons that was, but still being able to like, but when we're together, we were together. When the times that we had that were good, we helped each other, we were brothers or whatnot. So I appreciated even the small honesty of people not trying to make it sound everything like it was all hunky-dory. I think that sometimes people pass away and maybe you're not cool anymore, you haven't spoken to that person, and then you feel like maybe I shouldn't say anything because then people will call me out, but you're still able to like, I can pay my respects while still being honest about a relationship I used to have with somebody that may have drifted or changed over the years, but at some point meant a lot. So it was I thought it was real just to have those low moments as well, because everybody had their own way of paying tribute. Those that did it publicly, of course, not everybody had to, or nor is that an indication of anything. But I just thought that was I guess a good moment, an honest moment from what has been a very jarring week, I think.
100%, man. I think, as you're mentioning, I think for people to actually mention and to say something about their relationships with them is also what a lot of people were kind of, I don't know whether they expected a little bit more, whether they weren't expecting a lot. I know a lot of people were badgering Bonang to say something, and it's kind of like it leaves you on
strange.
On the fence on certain things, because it's like when they ended, they weren't speaking to each other. They weren't they weren't a hunky dory, but it's also just like, but he meant something to you at some point in your life. I mean, even Casper was busy saying his shout outs because he understood where their relationship was. Yes, they didn't like each other. Yes, they weren't friends, but there was a level of respect there.
Of course.
And I think from that perspective, maybe that's what people were kind of expecting,
so was Burner. I heard something.
Burner's thing was very weird.
I
don't know what
that
was
one,
happening.
I felt some type of way just listening to it. I felt some type of way because he was talking about they knew the relationship, how it was, but at the same time, he's like, I told you, get a gun. Like, how, dude?
That song was so strange. And I think that's why he took it down.
And there was it was like not the moment
No.
to speak about that, and not in your condolences message.
Yeah.
You can come through and be like, yo, man, after the fact, yeah, then I'm like, man, I've always had a bad feeling that something might pop off. It's always best to be strapped. You can say things like that because a lot of people have been saying things like that on the sides. Man, we don't even know how we're safe. Yeah. Should we take these death threats or threats way more seriously than they do come across? But it was like, not now, my guy. Also, not in the way that you're saying it, because it was very like black and white, and just and like that little speech was like condolences, but also I told you, but also sharp, but also it was like 4 different emotions in that.
What are you saying?
What are you actually saying?
What are you saying?
Because we know that yes, you guys weren't cool. We could have just said that, hey man, you know what? Off the bat, you and I weren't cool like that, but of course you didn't deserve that. Yeah. Rest in peace.
I think at the moment he recorded it was also maybe late night after 1 or 2 chats. Maybe he was
something
was happening. We don't know. I'm just glad he took it down.
He doesn't control his own social media, so he took that one moment he took over to write his own personal message. Is the one everybody's like, what the hell is going on with this guy? Because his mom and his team run his social media. He doesn't do a lot of posting himself. And so it's his mom who blocked me on Twitter, not him.
Oh, are you sure? Are you sure?
I don't know.
Because I think when you got blocked, he was definitely still handling his own things. Okay.
Hey man, I don't know. I'm gonna say that me and Brenna are chilling.
Brenna, there's nothing to unblock here. Leave Tshepo in the darkness where he is. He doesn't deserve to come out. He doesn't deserve to come out. All right, somebody who did come out to South Africa this past week as well was Kevin Hart, and he came through on a bigger scale than what he normally comes here for. So generally he just comes, he does his comedy show, he leaves. Yeah. But he did he did like a tour of sorts. He was here for about 4 days. He did a premiere for his new movie called Die Hard, which was also with Prime Video. So shout outs to the homies.
Out to the fans.
But also he was also at Adweek where he did a speech where he was a keynote speaker, and basically speaking about how his company Heartbeat Productions or Heartbeat Foundation is also going to be basically working with a lot of South Africans to take South African content to America. So he's trying to basically, open up the industry a little bit, do a little bit more, spread some love to South Africa, because he understands the amount of content and the amount of creativity that's coming through from the country, and try to, use his platforms and his numbers to kind of spread it to the rest of the world, which I think is really awesome.
Absolutely, man. I was there as well for his Adweek speech, and it was dope. Yeah. He made a lot of promises, so I'm saying I want to say
Tshepo doesn't believe you, Kevin.
No, but I'm just saying I'm glad that he himself acknowledged that he was saying a lot. You know what I'm saying? About how much they want to invest in in not just South Africa but African content, how much they want to find the next stars and help discover people, whether it's not just in comedy and stand-up, but also people in corporate, you know what I'm saying? People in production, people in writing, that entire sphere that comes with the entire production system. They want to help discover people locally this side. So I thought that was dope that they said that, and he acknowledged that, look, we're saying a lot of things here, but I think the best thing that you guys are going to see is us actually doing the work. That's why he was like, I came to this thing and I wanted you guys to be the one who speaks on it and bring my entire team here, you know what I'm saying? My founders, the CEOs were all here to try and really connect, so that when I'm gone, the reasons for us to come back, you guys will understand that it's not always just going to be tours. Sometimes there's some business to be done here, but judge us of our work purely and not of anything that we're saying. So I hope it is one of those things that ends up being where they inject a lot of money, not just money, but a lot of opportunities, you know what I'm saying, a lot of time to giving, unearthing talent and those people that are working hard to get the recognition and be able to make these international connections.
That's dope.
Yeah, man. So big ups to Kevin Hart. Hopefully we're going to see a little bit more on what he is working on, and maybe you as a South African creative might actually catch his eyes. So you never know when Mpo's watching. I don't even know how he got that name, but
Mpo, they gave it to him last time he was here.
Last time he was here.
And he was grooving this time. So shout out to him, you know what I'm saying? He's really about it. That guy really works hard. Yeah. You see him, I was with you the entire day. From the morning, when I'm in bed, I see this nigga on my Instagram. He's at the club. I'm like, no. He's not a lazy guy at all. Or somebody who's just like, nah. I've had a long day, enough with this entire thing. He really was like, okay, I'm gonna interact with everybody that I said I'm gonna interact with, and go above and beyond and give of my time. And sometimes that's the most important thing. It's like somebody giving actual time, not feeling like they're like, hey, I don't have, I'm just gonna do this thing and be out. And the comedy show itself, which I went to go see in Pretoria, was very, very dope. And he had Trevor Noah introduce him, but only on the last show. Oh, dope. You know what I'm saying? So it was like one of those moments. And he said on his Twitter and Instagram that he heard one of the loudest applause that he's ever heard in your life. And I'm telling you that is probably the loudest applause I've ever heard in my life.
Really?
In an arena. Because all his 3 boys opened for him, and then just before Kevin comes out, Trevor stepped on stage to introduce him, so nobody was expecting him. So I think everybody was just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then everybody just started screaming.
What a bonus.
Literally everybody lost them and that place erupted.
Really?
Trevor had to wait for like 3 minutes for us to come down before he could actually just say, and all he came to say is, yo, I always said I was going to introduce Kevin if he ever came to my house, because apparently Kevin Hart was Trevor Noah's first ever guest on the Today Show.
Oh, shut
because everybody was scared. They didn't know this new South African guy, so they couldn't get anybody big on the Today Show. And then they called Kevin, and Kevin was like, okay, I'll be your first guest. So ever since that, he's like, when you ever come to South Africa, I want to be the guy to introduce you in my home country. So that was them fulfilling that moment.
Oh man,
so what's the story with the phones being put away?
Yeah, I don't know why people are against this thing. I saw some weird threads about it online. You know what I'm saying? But basically, so this is how this thing started, right? Because we live in an era of smartphones and YouTube. And if you know anything about comedians, they tour the same set over a long period of time. You don't write jokes for every city that you go to. You know what I'm saying? The same Netflix special that you eventually see, they tour that for like a year and a half. So before it lands up on streaming platforms or released as a movie or which way they choose to release it, it's difficult for them to keep doing it if people keep recording it and then posting the clips. By the time they get 18 months later, everybody's seen it. By the time they get to your city, you've seen half the jokes online. So it makes the jokes stale. It makes them harder for them to repeat.
And people have paid money.
And people have paid money to see them and hear it for the first time, for that experience. So the main thing about it is to stop people from pirating stuff and putting it online. And the only way to do that is to lock phones away.
And I actually understand that, because the last time he came to South Africa, I went to that show. And all they could do at that point, because they hadn't had the system, because this time I think they had the system where you would put your phone away and then you would lock it up or whatever. But last time, all they would do was literally just ask us, like, please keep your phone off, please keep your phone off. Some South Africans were there. iPads out, phones out, everything is out. So all they had was just like all these bodyguards literally up and down trying to make sure people keep their phones down. So I think they realized last time, like, trying to ask people,
it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna work.
It's not,
we must just lock these things away, see we're right. So I get it. I mean, even at the movie, they also asked, no, please, can you not record whatever? I was just like, come on, we're not trying to put this thing on like a streaming platform. Relax.
You've seen those movies where your cousin brings you a DVD and it's, hey, I've got the new Transformer movie. You're like, pop that in, let's go. People are coughing in the movie. A guy gets up. You're like, my man. I thought you said you brought the new Transformer. It's that cam version now where somebody literally goes into the cinema, plumps their camera on a tripod and watches it there. When people start coughing, somebody gets up in front of them, you watch that entire thing. Sometimes you even see them go, and they do that sound.
Oksalayo, you've seen the movie. The point is you've seen the movie, right? I'm joking.
And for a movie it's easier, but can you imagine for a comedy show, that would be very costly. Because that you would probably watch, because that's just about the sound. So as you get that right, you're like, I can even listen to it as a podcast. You know what I mean? So those guys are in deep, deep danger of making sure that the content stays fresh wherever they go. But the biggest thing is that, in case people don't know, comedians tour the exact same set. Imagine he does 150 stadiums.
He can't make up new jokes.
Anything from 20,000 to 60,000 people. By the time he gets to halfway there, people are going to be like, man.
But zero, think about it, because if you were to do a tour as a DJ, at some point, you're going to get to a point where you're like, okay, I need to repeat this transition because it worked so well the last time.
We all do that.
I mean,
we all do that.
Exactly. Do that. As DJs, as artists, at some point, you're going to do a similar set and then you're going to switch it up when you get to like a different vibe, a different energy. So, I mean, it makes sense, especially if somebody's paying so much money. How much were the tickets?
The tickets were, let me tell you something, the cheapest tickets were 1,000 Rand.
Imagine. Cheapest.
That's on ticket. So on the resale, those tickets for 15,000 Rand, for example.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So anything from 1,000 Rand up in the bleachers.
Please. None of these resale things. Would you pay?
That must come with something, ne? A bottle of something.
Something. Hey. Anyway, all right. So talking about touring, Tyla is going to be touring with Chris Brown.
Tyla the creator?
No. Tyla, the artist, the female artist from South Africa. She is touring.
My goodness.
Yes.
All right. This is news to me. I'm hearing it for the first time. I like it when I'm surprised by the news.
Thank you for reading the prep, Sipo. We definitely
sometimes you must, people need to get the real reaction. You guys just edit this last minute. No. I want to tell you guys I read the prep.
No. He didn't read the prep. We're keeping that in. Anyway, Tyla is touring with Chris Brown. She's going on the European tour with him. She didn't do the first show, but I know they're starting out in Dublin and then they're going to go throughout the UK as well as to Europe. And she is a guest star, which is something that I don't think a lot of people were expecting, but shout outs to her management team. Zero, I think you know about it because, I mean, you read the prep.
I read a little bit about it.
Yeah.
But my thought was, what is she really going to perform? Like, how long is he going to, her set's going to be? Like,
You know, the moment.
Songs as well, the type of music she's making.
Yeah.
Is she gonna appeal to that market, that side?
Well, I guess also because she's got like a vibey, like very pop piano-esque thing, which is why they probably got her on.
Yeah, but she has gqom songs as well, so like
maybe that's what he was going for. Maybe Chris Brown just wanted something a little bit different. He wanted someone who's going to bring a different edge, who's not going to sound like him, because he's also got a catalog of like 50 million songs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, she does.
No, he does. She has maybe about 5 songs. But which is the first thing that I did when I found out she was going on tour. I went to go and see how many songs she has. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, maybe she'll be on stage for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's I'm not sure what she's gonna perform, but I will say this about that is that maybe, I mean, Chris Brown has been touring for half his life, so of course his entire team will have some sort of plan. They're not gonna leave her ice her out in the cold and be like, you figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So whatever set that she's gonna put together, and I'm sure it's not like a long opening set. You know what I'm saying? Let's say it's something like 30 or 40 minutes. And
40 minutes?
Yeah, okay, 40 minutes sounds a lot. Maybe 30 minutes. Okay, let's assume
20.
Let's assume 20 minutes. But then maybe they incorporate the DJs into it. They add some dancers into it. Chris maybe comes out for one of the songs. Who knows how they're gonna do it, because he likes dancing. I
don't think he would come out.
But I think making it maybe 20 minutes is a good enough time to keep the energy on stage without people going, okay, who's this person now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you don't even want to get there. But I'd like to imagine that they'll put it together, something of value to the people that are going to be watching it. Whether it's nice, high performance, even the way that they introduce this person, people have to be like, yo, by the way, we're going to tell you something about this new artist, la-di-da-di-da. So I'd like to think that, and maybe on these tours as well, he has a lot of other opening acts. It's not just one person. You know what I'm saying? So she's part of like an ensemble of 3 or 4 or 5 other guest appearances who are going to be there to get that crowd on. I would just use that opportunity to springboard. Let's say, especially if people are gonna be like, I wonder who this person is. Let me tell you something. I'm going anyway. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna do my best, because there's people there that won't forget you. Let's say, for example, let's say go back to Kevin Hart. Let's say you have an opportunity as an upcoming comedian to tour and go. Kevin Hart is doing 150 shows around the world, and he chooses you. Says you, Zero, are gonna open for me.
I know,
you know what I'm saying?
10 minutes.
Doesn't matter what if you think you can do it or not. It's immediately yes. And you're going to there, and each show you're going to get better and do your best to make sure that you bring presence.
Have you seen her perform?
Sorry?
Have you seen her perform?
No, I haven't.
Have you seen her perform?
But what I'm saying,
I haven't either.
I actually tried checking shows that have booked her in the country.
Yeah.
Couldn't find one.
Really? But I mean, look, her songs are cool. Like I said, she's got like that pop piano situation.
Zero wants to say something else, and I feel like he needs to say
no. There's nothing.
Say your heart's desire.
No, I've said it.
Okay.
It's probably, I think maybe Idols. I'm not sure. I think I've seen
Idols. She did the Idols thing.
Other than that, shows, I've never seen anything. I tried checking, but I couldn't see anything.
Look, I'm saying shout outs to her team, because for them to pull something like this off, and however they sold it, like if I was also just an artist trying to get my come up, trying to get myself out there, even if I had one song, I will perform the song 10 times.
You're going.
You will hear me by the end of this tour, Guti. This is the 10 different versions of this one song. You are going to feel me by the time I'm done, because I'm opening for Chris Brown. But yeah, man, you know what? For the South African exports, I'm always just like shout outs, because we need this type of PR, you know?
Absolutely. Look, you could sit there and say somebody else who's bigger. If we're going to be representing South Africa, let's talk about it as a country, Chris Brown, and then we'll send you the person we think. You know what I'm saying? We can sit here and have that opportunity. But first of all, she must be grateful for her opportunity, and she must take it in her stride and do the best that she can do to put herself on, and then afterwards the country or whatnot. I will say, this is what they always say when they tell you to always be prepared. Whatever talent that you have, whatever it is that you're chasing, you must stay ready so you never have to get ready. You know what I'm saying? For you personally as a person, because you can't do everything for everybody else. You, whatever it is that you really, really want, you must stay prepared, because at any given moment, your chance could come. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you do, you could have started editing last week. You know what I'm saying? Today they ask you to go edit for the biggest show in the country. You can't be like, hey guys, I'm not ready. I was just learned last week how to use it's time for you to learn today. Today you must act like you've been doing this shit your whole life. You know what I'm saying? Because your moment has come. They picked you out of the entire crowd. So get up and go do the job. That's the thing that's going to springboard you. When she tells the story, you'll be like, hey man, this is how it happened. It's so crazy. But I used it as an opportunity to get to the next place. So when I, as an individual, just make sure that whatever that you're doing, that you stay ready for your moment. Whatever it is that you want. Because it could come way sooner than you think. It could have been Uncle Waffles. She woke up one day and she was a superstar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People are like, she can't DJ, her mixes are whatever. She's like, I'm going to the top.
Yes.
You'll find me there. Whether you guys are agreeing or not, I'm going to the top.
Yeah.
And that's where she is right now.
Exactly. So, hey, man, like I said, big ups to whoever is her team, whoever is surrounding her, because it definitely doesn't happen by yourself. There are people, there's a machine behind Tyla, just like there's a machine behind Uncle Waffles. And that's why these people can take it to the top. So, a big shout outs to them, man. Talking about Amapiano artists who are taking it to the top, we'll also have our annual Amapiano Awards.
Official, unofficial.
I mean, that's what they said about hip hop when the hip hop awards
I just
came
hope we've
out.
sorted it out now that, okay, this is the only Amapiano awards going forward.
I don't know. But people seem to be happy about these nominations.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen people repost here.
Yes.
A lot of people, the Kelvin Momos and whatnot.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, there we go. I guess the piano community has accepted that this is the official one. Okay, so we're running with it.
So we're running with this one. There's obviously just a lot of award categories. But there was the one category which made me a little... I don't know about this one. There's Amapiano street dancer, which obviously because Amapiano is big on TikTok. There's online DJ performance platform DJ. Best Amapiano artist manager. And I don't have an issue with showing love to the management. I think I'm just taken aback because it's never been something that's been had. It's never a category that we've experienced in any other award show. So I think that's why for me, I'm just like,
Zero, what do you think about an artist
one?
manager award?
They should have swapped it for something else.
really?
Yeah.
Why?
Could have
Why are you
swapped for
against it?
something.
Let me understand why you're against it.
I'm not really against it, but like we had this conversation.
Yeah.
All the teams that are there, they all are doing great.
Yeah.
Cool. But there's more out there who are doing as great as them.
Okay.
Right.
So
But that's why it's just a nomination. Everybody's an artist.
They submit.
Only 5 people get nominated.
They submit. The artist manager submitted.
Do you
I think I'm the best.
Do you think
artist
they submitted?
manager. So the person who's we're relying on the visibility or someone's eyes. Yeah, a group of people
I
were
don't
like.
think everybody there submitted, including the DJs, the artists. Because I know a few DJs who were like, "Oh, I just saw my name. Oh, best DJ."
I mean,
Smile.
that happens. Sometimes the awards want to celebrate you and you only find out after the fact. But yeah, I think for me, I was just, like I said, I'm just taking it back because it's something that's never been done before. I'm not against it because I do think the managers need to be shown love because they are doing really big things.
Sure.
But, hey, man.
I don't know if it's
they're also just doing their job.
Yeah, it is very interesting. I mean, I'm guessing when they came up with it, they're like, they obviously sat around, just like kind of were sitting around. I guess there was just no microphones, and and they were like, what do you guys think about bringing artist managers into the fore? You know what I mean? And us showing them love, and it's not a bad thing because it's showing them love. You know what I'm saying? So every time somebody's getting recognized and showing them love, that's not a bad thing. But now it's just like, where do we stop in the ecosystem of an artist's career?
Yeah.
Where do we start? Who do we recognize? Who do we don't? I mean, next week, let's bring in the road manager and say, this person is driving this person around the country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Doing a very, very good job because here they are alive and well. You know what I'm saying? Still on the road.
Drinking the rider.
Drinking the rider, having a cool time.
1000%. Getting the girls, doing the things.
The artist is on time. They know the shortcuts. They know every city like the back of their hand. Videographer, let's go. Best photographer, let's go. They're doing a great job. They give us the visuals.
I mean, artist best friend, come on with it.
Come on with it. You know what I'm saying? The guy who's there for the artist the most. When the artist is feeling down and out, who's telling the best jokes in the group to keep the spirits up. You know what I'm saying? All these people may sound like just random people, but they build, right?
Yeah.
They add. By the time Nani gets behind the decks, it took a team to get her there. From her makeup to her friends who are telling her, I'm Ghana. I know it's the 6th show of the day, but you got it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
And
when she's
those
sitting
people are
there
so
and she has a
important.
big smile on her face, they know the cost of that smile. So let's bring them in and let's say best friend to cheer up Noni.
And the best friends are important. I won't
know what I
lie.
mean?
Because when you get to that 6th gig, you don't want nothing. You just want to sleep.
Exactly. And then when you get there and there's issues as well, and you're like, whoa, what? So this guy's still playing. You don't even know what it took for me to get here. Like we're bobbing and weaving through traffic. You know what I'm saying? We're missing flights. We're catching the next flights. We're doing our best to be here. And when I got there, this guy is still on stage. I thought this was I was 15 minutes away from a nap. But I'm just saying, yes, these things may sound like jokes, and some of them are, but to the person on stage, if we're saying that it takes a lot to bring a person, an artist, and the team that must rally around them, we appreciate that. People be getting recognized. I'm just saying, where does it stop? Because the artist managers now become the most recognized, and then the other managers also come to and be like, I'm the business manager, Nami. I be contributing to making sure this person.
Marketing manager, PR. But you know what? I'm not mad. Like I said, I'm not mad
Maybe
at the category.
Behind the scenes industry awards type situation to help. You know what I'm saying? The way there's like writers awards for different things. You know, like in America, you got the screenwriters awards and whatnot, because you can't just throw one. They know it's not enough just to have a category when there's so many writers doing so many things. Let's group them all together and say we're going to recognize you.
Yeah.
Could be production awards. Maybe those will happen at some point.
No, but there is best producer.
Sure. I guess best producer we're used to because we're like, okay, this person is in studio, kandering the sound with the person. But I'm saying it's not a bad move, but now it just opens up a discussion of how many other people in the ecosystem and in the industry should we be celebrating.
Hey, it's a lot, this one. But hey, man, shout outs. We will be watching when the Amapiano Awards come out. And of course, we'll celebrate the winners when they are announced as well. But Ambitiouz Records is out here saying that they are the blueprint of South African hip hop. They made a tweet. Well, they sent out a tweet saying that you can't talk about South African hip hop without mentioning Ambitiouz Records. Zero?
That's true. But the blueprint part,
Why do you disagree to the blueprint part?
Wow. Whenever we talk about hip hop, SA hip hop, we'll add them there. Sharp. They did their part. They were great at that time.
Yeah.
But they don't have the blueprint.
If they're the blueprint, what was Lance doing?
Yeah. What about Ivy League?
If we go back as far as that guy, what was Lance doing with
Les and Bongs and
you know what I'm saying, like what was happening there? We could go from Motherland as well, having done some work,
Ishmael.
and then to what was Lance's label?
Get a rough.
Get a rough. You know what I'm saying? To labels like that and many
Bada
other.
Bing.
Bada Bing. All these. We're talking about blueprint for real now.
Yeah.
Nobody's discounting Ambitiouz. And I'll say something nice about Ambitiouz.
Motif.
They took Motif. All these people were the earliest successful versions at the time. You know what I'm saying? These guys came through and they took it to the top in terms of like putting these guys on a national level, getting behind them as a label should get. Yes, there's a lot of things we can say about the contract work and were they being fair, unfair, sharp. Let's just treat them. Oh no, at the end of the day, labels are always gonna be trying to put themselves on in terms of like benefiting financially from an artist. So that's nothing new. You know what I'm saying? That they didn't put the blueprint on that. So the positive impact that they had on a lot of people's careers is definitely visible, and more so, especially on the hip hop in this maybe the past 10 years, they've probably been a very successful label that's put a lot of money behind hip hop, because a lot of hip hop artists usually have to do it on their own. It's very difficult for them to get label support, especially to the extent that if you think about how Aries and MT were put on and marketed in this country, unlike any other hip hop artists we've seen in this country beforehand. But the AKAs and the Casper's success came from a grind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It came from a grind. Those guys they were marketing themselves and they were fighting for those spots on stage. That later on, the new wave of the guys that I just mentioned and many others was coming off the fact that, yes, the talent was there, but the boost that a label is supposed to give you was now very, very visible for us to say, oh, this label is actually working. Because a lot of times we'd be like, hey, these guys are signed. Even international labels, these partnerships, we'll be looking at them and we're like, hey, we don't see how this is benefiting this artist. It looks like it's just on paper. You're supposed to say that you're signed. Even though the big labels in this country that exist, the big three that exist on this continent, a lot of people will be saying, yeah, hey, shout out to these guys, but they'll be whispering some things about, these guys are not doing what you guys think they're supposed to be doing.
Always the same chat when it comes to labels, hey? But I don't know. The blueprint, like Zero saying, a little trickier on that word. But yeah, shout outs on the work that they've done.
Yeah.
Shout outs on the impact, the artists that they had showed love to. I mean, Black Diamond, do you know what I mean? Perfect example. Obviously, it's Java MT. Maybe from our perspective, it's a little different because we kind of knew them before, but to take them national was a different conversation. So they did the work. Shout outs to that. But blueprint, we don't know. Maybe we'll leave that one to Jay-Z. Right now, though, we are going to move over to our unpopular questions. We have our favorite gold box that is going to be joining us in a moment.
Somebody commented in our POPcast Goes To episode that that box is a box, eh?
It's a real box.
It's a real square box. Kile bogos.
Yeah.
And I just knew what they meant. Look, it's a box. You usually put graffiti on it, so you guys looks like we found it on the streets.
Imali or pogisi? There's no money. Sorry, you have to go for the pogisi.
That was my dream. That was my dream growing up, to be in that show. Imali or for bogos. Every time someone says bogos and they find Colgate in there, say lail.
And if you don't know what show Tshepo's talking about, she's too young for you guys. All right. Do you think award shows need a reboot in regards to planning and execution?
Yes, they do.
Okay, elaborate.
I think the last 3-4 years, when I watched awards, I felt like they were lazy. They were very, very lazy. Production, they were not putting effort. There's just a lot of things.
Yeah.
CDJ, idea connector.
I mean, that's always the case when it comes to TV shows. And it stresses me out because when you get there as a DJ and you acting like you are miming and everything, cool. The least you can do as a production is at least connect the wires so that it looks real. Yeah. Because now we look like the idiots. Guti, what are you pressing? Because the thing is off. The lights aren't even on the CDJs. The mixer's off. Everything is just weird. But then they don't care. All they want to do is get the shot. Yeah. You know, so I don't know. It's a little bit tricky.
Yeah, no, I think if you follow the show, then you know exactly how we feel about some of these award shows. Over the last year or so, especially, speaking about missing them and now them coming back. A few weeks ago, we spoke about the Metro FM Awards making a comeback. We spoke about the Summers extensively last year and how unhappy pretty much everybody was about them. We spoke about SA Hip Hop Awards and what they need to do to improve. We spoke about the Content Creator Awards. And there's always good and bad, right? And sometimes it seems like people are going out of their way. You know, when you know that something is being done by a small group of people, they're not letting it breathe. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When something is being done by a few, you know, the three of us have to do something that's supposed to impact the entire country. Maybe it's best for us to involve as many people as possible. Yeah. So there's a lot of voices from different corners to be like, you guys forgot, you guys are forgetting, you're doing this wrong, and delegation. If the three of us think we're going to do it by ourselves, people are going to be like, there's so many things that you've left out because you're only going to think as far as your own mind can take. There's no way you're going to cover something on a national, international level without involving a lot of people. So when things start off, they're always small because the group there is small. So therefore, the problems that they're going to try to solve are going to be bigger than them at any given time. But the more you start opening up to experts, you're saying, okay, these are award shows. Sound people must be sound people. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Directors must be directors. You know what I'm saying? The show director themselves, the producers must be producers. Must be people with expertise. Not so much clout. Doesn't have to be the best director in the world. There are other directors who can do dope shit, but those people need to be able to do the job right. We can't just be giving jobs to anybody just for whatever, because the entire production at the end of the day is going to be judged on just what we see. You know what I'm saying? Everything takes hard work. Even a shit show takes hard work to put together. So why not do it right?
I don't understand how the sound always goes off, like, and not go off as in switches off, but like there's always like a something's lost in translation. From if you're live at the awards and you're watching the show, from where you're sitting, you're just like, oh wow, okay, they got the sound right. And then you go on social media and you watch and everyone's just like, oh my gosh, what's happening with the sound? It's such a mess. Nya, nya, nya. How is it that every single time there's an award show, every single time there's the same complaint about the sound? I don't know where the disconnect is. Is there no one person who can say, I know where the problem is, let me fix it?
I think it goes back to what you were saying. If you work with more people, then it's easy.
But every year,
this side, what I've realized is the engineer there by front of house, he wants to do everything alone. And then there's a cable there, he must run there, he forgets, he needs to cue the next person.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's the master of the deck there.
They don't want to spend money.
I want to do everything by myself.
People don't want to spend money on certain things. They're like, we can be able to do this ourselves. We have in-house A, B, and C. We have one people are trying to, because these things definitely sound, lighting, staging, all these things cost a lot of money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you start thinking, where can we cut costs and still put together and appreciate? But I'm saying, if we can see where you cut costs, then don't do that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If we're like, that's a shit stage. And you obviously had a decision to make in that stage. Guys, are we going to go with this stage, or if it rains, everybody must go home? Or I'm going to go with this stage that's going to protect the artist and the DJ. And someone decided, fuck the rain, let's go with this one. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then later on it rains, they're like, hey, man, the elements of Earth are attacking us here because we chose the cheapest fucking possible stage.
Yeah.
The sound, you're like, guys, are we going to go with studio quality sound when these people are talking? It must sound crisp.
But budgets are also real, Tshepo.
No, that's what I'm saying. It speaks to everything. So that I can get trying to cut costs when you have money, and you can say we can actually lose money here. If we choose only the best, we will make no money. In fact, we will owe ourselves some money. You know what I'm saying? That's how deep things can get. So I think when you're looking for money for these things, it's best to start with what is the best thing for us to get. So when we're trying to go get these amounts, we start at the top and saying these are things we can't compromise on to put this thing together as best as we can.
Sound and stage, guys.
Sound and stage.
Because
you wouldn't get a shit camera if you're gonna go on TV. Somebody will be say, must we shoot this in 380, mafana? Because 1080 is going to, or 4K is going to fuck us late. Let's shoot this thing in 380.
You think, let's say, for instance, your summers, they don't have the budget for sound and stage?
You know what? You'll be surprised. Do you know why I say that? Because there's also this complaint a lot, especially when it comes to, for instance, the Summers or any other big award show, is that sometimes they'll ask artists to come and perform. And artists will say, okay, cool, I don't mind performing, but my problem is that you want me to drive all the way to Sun City and spend my night in Sun City on a very busy weekend to come and be on your show. The least you can do is pay me to perform. And they say, no, they don't have budget. So that's why I'm saying to you, I mean, budgets are a real thing, because if they can't pay artists to come and perform on their stages, then surely then their budgets are going to other things which they possibly cutting costs on as well. You know what I mean? So it's tricky from that perspective, but my biggest problem will always be the sound, because I don't understand how it doesn't translate. And maybe when you're live and you're there and you're watching it, because there is a way that you conduct the sound when you're doing a live show.
Of course.
But then how you then going to feed it to camera to go to a live feed to a TV is completely different. Something needs to connect there. And I'm not the person to do it because I'm not a sound guy.
You can see, something needs to connect there. Don't hire her.
I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy.
And I bet the guy who does it also speaks like they just call C-board. I'd be like, I'm not connecting these things, guys. I'm so right.
See, the thing is, it's people like you who are saying, yeah, but if they call your name, you're going to go anyway, you'll pitch up. Like you said, you'll be there for Chris Brown. No, it's not Chris Brown's show.
That's what happened, though. I understand there's a give and take in that.
This is not Chris Brown's show, Tshepo. This is the Summers.
Though. You can go there and do a shit job, but they still called you, right? They said, you must come do the Suns. What are you going to say? There's like, here's 100,000, come do the Suns. Let's go. I'll be there at Sun City going, hey, guys, wait, does the ox go in the blue one or the green one?
I'll probably hire
don't call me.
I'll probably hire
call
somebody else. Yes, don't call me. I'm not the guy. I'm just saying.
But if you call me, I'll be there.
I'm just saying, as a viewer, I will also then speak like a viewer and say, I've been there live and I've been there at home, and there's always just a disconnect that I just don't understand. Something must work.
Yeah, there's a give and take. Everything is a balancing act. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So there's no such thing as a conversation that's just linear. You know what I'm saying? Everything is a balancing act. Everything that we're saying, there's no, because people must be good at their jobs, must only get the experts and never give anyone a chance. No, people need to be overseen by people who are there, are senior, you know what I'm saying? So if you want to pass on the baton and open up the industry, that's also fine. Yeah. Going back to what I was saying, but that person needs to be supervised by somebody who knows what they're doing or whatever. You know, you bring people in as interns to learn from experts so they themselves can one day take over and have those opportunities. So you can let an ecosystem run by bringing people who are already talented and then teaching them how to execute. Yeah. And that works with everything that we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Whether they call you and you don't know, but if you don't know, then you have to be able to say, who am I working under? Maybe they called me out just to help out. This is my opportunity to learn, but I must just follow everything Noni says because she's the expert. Yeah. Mustn't deviate and say naming yazi or whatever. You know what I mean?
I mean, you could give your opinion, but you must still take your direction.
Of course, yeah. Some things are very black and white and very technical. So do that part right, and then you can come with suggestions later. Yeah. Everything, like I said, now our conversation is linear. There's no black and white. Everything, we need to move these pieces around and see where they fit properly to able to execute something at the end of the day. But if that's the problem, if you guys are taking advice from me about how to throw the Summers, then that's even worse. Then if you're tuned in because you're like, what are we gonna do the Summers this year? Let's making a mistake. You're making a mistake, my brother. Just make sure that I like it. That's it. Because we're at home watching, and the people at home must be able to say this was a dope show.
Exactly.
Then you've passed. That's all. That's the only judge you need. If people are like, what's going on with them with the sound? You failed. It's
exactly. Just and there's always little things. It's always like, okay, is that person like? Sometimes it feels like there's no rehearsal. Sometimes it feels like everything just happened like an hour before they went live on TV. There's like those things are very important, especially if it is live TV. And if you've done live TV before, you'll know that they do rehearsals for a reason before they come on and actually present the show. So I don't know, man. Execution definitely needs to be worked on. Production definitely needs to be worked on. More people need to be worked on. Yeah. More budgets, but budgets also come with sponsorships, so please go out and get the sponsorships. And we're speaking to people like Amapiano Awards. We want to watch the show. We want to celebrate our artists. Amapiano is the biggest thing that's happening in the world right now. Please represent us in the way so we can then say the world must watch the Amapiano Awards because we are the biggest genre that's taking over the world right now. Do you know what I mean? So give us something to boast about. We don't want to be scared. We don't want to be cowards when it comes to the conversation around it. All right, so we are getting into the music right now.
Yes, sir.
Some new music that has dropped this past week. Of course, we need to celebrate the late great AKA. Oh, that's so weird. That's very, so very weird. Strange. So weird. AKA his track with Kidominant dropped on Friday. It's called Company. That's obviously the single that's going to drop just before the album drops this week, Mass Country. The track list also came out.
I saw that today,
yeah. So a shout out to...
Looking dope. So a few good names on there. 031 Chopper. Yeah. So MT on there.
I saw
Blackie.
Yeah, Blackie on Nadia's there. Also on there.
I saw what's his name? Masana. What am I saying his name right? No.
I don't know who you're talking about, but it's okay. We'll find it.
It's bothering me, but I'm gonna find it.
Don't worry. So there's definitely a lot of really awesome features. So we're excited about the album.
Manana.
Yo,
I said Masana, and I was like, that's somebody's child. I meant Manana. Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to him.
Chad the Don. He's got a brand new tune with MT and J Jody. Reese Madlisa dropped an EP called Kwaito Namamedi. But the EP is on the way. There's only just one single so far, and the track is called Ndonela, and Youngster CPT with Penny McCarthy. All right, so gentlemen, we're gonna kick it off with the AKA Kidominant Company. How you feeling?
Currently my favorite jam.
Okay. Why?
After it dropped, I think I played it like 6 times. It's a dope song.
Yeah.
It's a dope song. It's mellow.
Where's it gonna fit into one of your DJ sets?
Oh, it does already.
Oh, okay. Have you tested it?
Yes,
all right. Okay.
It
all right.
came out what? Was it Friday?
Friday.
It came out Friday.
It came out Friday. Saturday I was on it.
Really? What do you mix it with?
You can play it with because it's 100 BPM. You can play it with lemon and lemonade. You can play it with sete.
It just fits in the pocket nicely. Okay.
Actually, I can really see it being played with sete. Either in or out, actually.
Yeah.
The whole no, I see it. I thought of the track immediately as I played it. I was like, okay, now you see now, and we've been saying this album is probably gonna be his best work in a while.
Oh, my man's is back.
And I was like, nah, Keenan hit it nicely here. And apparently that's the single he himself wanted to release next before the album, so they're honoring his wishes. And he speaks about recording something in LA. They recorded this in LA with Kidominant apparently in January during his holiday. I thought the track was really, really well produced. It sounds very dope. There's a little fun element to it, say one girl not enough for me, 2 girls. I know that whole chant. You can already see people repeating it. It's very, very cool. I mean, he and Kidominant hit gold every time they work together. And I think Kidominant is behind the production of the song as well. Very, very dope jam, man. I'm thinking to myself, as soon as I bumped it, I was bumping with my girl. As soon as we're playing, like, I think we have to repeat it like 4 times now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta hit with the right speakers. You gotta let it attack you with those crisp sounds. Also, that's something that's on the back. I know you speak about it as well, but if you ever listen to a new song, it's very important that you don't use the headphones with the wire. The one that you adjust like this and then you adjust, pull down. It's very important that you don't use something like that because everything sounds like shit there. You know what I'm saying? So if you're trying to, I'm just saying, it just gives it nothing. Apple Music have things like lossless sound now. You know what I'm saying? You can go into another dimension when you're listening to the music. And if you are wearing those big Apple headphones and you turn right, it's like the sound turns with you. It is movement control. If you listen to those earphones and put them on popular, every time you're looking, it feels like the sound is following you in some spatial audio experience. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying there's... if you can invest, leave the wire and then try something, upgrade your sound. But I thought the track is very, very dope. It's made me even more excited now for the rest of the album, which, like, on the track list, based on what we've seen so far, I think is going to be some really, really dope work.
I was actually shocked that there was still another single to drop before the album, because typically artists will drop maybe like 2 songs and then say album, or maybe like 1 song and then album, because they don't want to give away too much to take away from the album. But obviously seeing the track listing and that there's 14 songs, he's already released 4 songs, so that's okay because we've got 4 brand newish songs because they all got released recently.
Yeah.
And then now we've got 10 brand new fresh songs we don't know. And that's a lot, especially in a time where a lot of people are only releasing 5, 6, 7 songs at a time. 10 is usually the maximum. So for us to get 10 brand new songs outside of the 4 that we already know is already making me salivate. I'm so excited to hear the album. So Mass Country, like I said, track list is out. The track itself, Company, definitely dope. Primo's already done like a little bit of a skit to it already. Just, showing homage and love to AKA, which I think is so dope. So I can already see the social media going wild for it.
Yeah.
I can already see it bumping in the club. I can already see how people are just going to be vibing with it. Perfect timing for it to come out now. And yeah, man, it's just such a lively song. It's got such really great energy. And I'm quite keen to actually see how the ladies are going to respond to it from a social media perspective. Because, some people like to make like spin-offs also from a social media as well. But Kid Dominant and AKA just have this relationship, especially with Fela and Versace. It just came out the way it needed to come out. This one is just another one. My man's back, man. Ish. It's so sad that we are we're finally saying such amazing things about his music, because obviously, even Nevo said it at the memorial. He was just like, he wasn't sure about that Pova one.
Now he said I hate it.
He was like, no, not that one.
I felt vindicated. At some point I felt like, am I the only one who's saying this now?
No,
at the time.
Don't worry. I think he even knew that he's back in his pocket and he's giving us the music that he needs to give us.
Also undeniable. Like, I listened to the song once and I was like, this song is going to smash.
Yeah.
Not these like, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, what I'm saying? He was really, really back in his pocket, man.
Shout out. All right. And shout outs to the Mass Country team, man. He mentions them. He shows them love on the album cover as well. So I like that everybody is kind of getting their love and
down
their
to
appreciation.
the writing.
Yes.
He said, I forgot what it says at the bottom, but it says,
the writers.
head writers or the songs were written by AKA and he's the other 2 guys that he's been working with, which Nevo took on stage with and gave each an introduction. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is the guy he's writing with, these producers, here's the sound guys. You know what I'm saying? So that was very dope to see as well.
Yeah, man. Shout outs. All right. So more music that came out this past week. Chat the Dawn, J. Jody, MT with a track called 23.
This track, it's tricky, Yana. It's tricky because Chad is not shining on his own jam. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's been a while since we've talking about a new Chad song or whatnot, because the track itself is dope. You know what I'm saying? Especially the MT and Jody, who probably has the best verse. I thought very, very dope verse from him. It has a nice flow. I like the beat. And that's the positive things about the track. But Chad himself is not like coming through in his own jam.
Yeah, he didn't.
He didn't come through. I thought like he opened up the track and he didn't say anything whack. I listened to his verse, but it didn't feel like as memorable as the other guys. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know what it is. With he kind of always seems to be stuck in this thing with his music where there's always something that's missing to get the song to a different type of level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the guy, I've heard him rap on a few other things where I'm like, okay, this guy can actually spit, but then he does himself a disservice every time with the singles a little bit. But I thought this was great for those 2 guys that are featured on this. It was like a great move on his part. So the song itself, I like. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he's just not. He's definitely like 3rd best on his own song.
You're tricky. Shout outs to MT the Hustler.
Also, another side note on HT, I promised people that I'm going to put together an MT playlist of just songs MT has featured on in the past 12 months. Because people who've been asking, it's like MT, where is he at? Because I feel like there's enough. I could probably put together 15 to 20 features of that MT has done over the past 12. I want to keep it to 12. 12 to 18 months or so put together for you guys. Next episode is coming out with the link.
Do you know why I think people ask that question? It's because he doesn't perform the features.
Of course.
And I had this conversation with him. I said, my brother, these songs are hot. Just jump on stage, rock the verse, get back into your own song. Because I think people also need to see it and they need to hear it from him. Because it's all good that you're featured and somebody drops a song. Maybe you didn't even know Chad Don released the song, but here's a feature. But if he performs it, he jumps on stage and he does the verse, then you're going to go back and you're going to want to listen to it. Yeah. So I do implore MT, his team, anybody who's working with him, just do a little bit more of what's current and what's been released lately. Obviously, I think for now, he's just kind of, biding his time, waiting for DIY 3 to come out, which is okay. I get it. Every team has a strategy, but the features are there, my brother. Come on. Just give us a young something. Yeah.
I know he definitely needs to do that.
Yeah.
And I think, as for Chad,
yeah,
I think he needs to just drop an EP Ways alone.
Yes, please.
Because whenever he drops a song with somebody, they definitely own the song.
I remember Youngster.
Yeah,
Devastating.
exactly. So he just needs to a young EP, 4 songs, Nyana, where he's alone. He must do his thing, and then we'll take it from there. But right now he's not shining.
Ish. All right, somebody who is shining right now, Reese Madlisa, has got a brand new tune. It's called Ndonela. Like I mentioned, it's off of his EP called Kwaito Namamedi. This is the first single that's coming out. There's a couple of more songs that are going to drop when the EP does drop itself. Yeah, man. So what do you think of the track?
It's actually dope, but it's hard for me to listen to Reese without Zuma.
I think you're in your head about it too much.
I'm not. I saw snaps. They were performing together yesterday, which is dope. But for me, it's hard for me to listen to Reese without Zuma or vice versa. It's just.
I think you just have attachment issues.
What are these guys from? They're part of like a mesh of Kwaito and Amapiano.
Yeah.
Is where they play in that arena.
But it's a dope song. I like the girl that sings.
So the whole point of the EP is that he is releasing an EP which features females.
Okay.
So whether it's females on production, whether it's females on the vocals, whether they're rapping, whatever the case may be, that's why it's called Kwaito Namamedi. Because Amamedi are coming in as the features on all of the songs, which I think is really dope. He's trying to shine some light on some artists who, some of them, most of them unknown artists that he probably knows, maybe from Alex, or some of them are from Soweto, others from Tembisa, whatever the case may be. But I dig the fact that he is consciously saying, I'm going to put the girls on, which is what he's doing with this EP. With regards to the rumors, he also says, hey, people are just making up their own things. Me, I'm my own artist. I was my own artist before I started working. Because also, if you think about the earlier features that they've done with Jazik and with Buster 929, if you check the track listing, it says featuring Reese Madlisa and Zuma. It's only with time later did they then say, okay, but you guys are always together.
Yeah.
What are we going to call you? Amaroto. Okay, you guys sharp. This is who you're going to be. So they were solo artists, then came together. But now they're just like, okay, I'm doing my thing. Zuma's going to release his EP, but we're still friends. We're still going to hang out. We're still going to perform.
Still going to see Amaroto.
Yeah.
Now, I like that. Just speaking to the concept of the album, Kwaito Namamedi, I actually love that. And I think he's doing it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Create the vibes with the ladies, put the ladies on, feature them on the tracks like you're saying. I think it's a great way to reach out and say, you know what I'm saying, we're going to put more ladies on in these type of genres, especially Kwaito, you know what I'm saying? So I'm interested to see how the entire project comes out and what births. Cause I'm sure we're going to get 1 or 2 new stars or ladies, because people are going to be asking, yo, who's this on Reese's song? Who's this on Reese's song? And then just like that, you're going to have somebody else who's helped get into the industry, especially with these guys, how closely they're related to the Amapiano market. Do you know what I'm saying? It's Amapiano. It's kind of playing both circles. Then you know how people shoot up quickly that side. So instantly now you're with one of the piano superstars. Then you can imagine the put on will be, I think, very, very real and give people an opportunity, and we're gonna get dope music from it, so it's a win-win.
100%, man. So this specific song, Ndonela, is a little bit more like slow love song type of vibe, but he does say that the rest of the EP is more turn-up music, so we're gonna get the jams for the summertime. Sweet. That's definitely on the way as well. The last track, youngster CPT, Benny McCarthy. What do you think of the tune?
Oh,
I'm not going to ask Tshepo because Tshepo's already a fan. We already know what he's going to say.
I'm a fan as well.
Of who, Benny or of Youngster?
Both.
I'm a fan of Youngster, so the song is dope.
Yeah.
I like how they played with the song. It's a drill song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how the verses are dope. And I'm not sure in the middle. I'm not sure if it's still Young or it's the other guy, or he just produced the song.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I think I need to listen to it for another couple of times.
Yeah, there's somebody else on the track.
Yeah.
I think
but I know the guy as a producer, not as a rapper.
Yeah, I think he might have done production, because I listened to the song as well. I was like, is there somebody else? At the beginning, I thought I heard 2 voices, but I realized it was Youngster, and then it was just Youngster speaking Afrikaans.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been the other guy. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Youngster. Yeah, unless I'm not getting it, but I think it's one of those like production collabs type situation.
Because even with the previous song, I know the guy from, what's that song? Dacha.
Yes.
He produced the song.
Yeah, okay.
So I thought it was that vibe. But when I listened to the song, it's like, hey, there's another voice here.
Yeah.
What's happening? Is it the guy rapping now? He produced and then rapped? I don't know.
Yeah,
but
man.
It's a dope song. Shout out to them.
It is dope. I mean, I also like that he used a lot of references, obviously UK references, now that Benny McCarthy is coaching that side, and also just brought in a little bit of like a UK slang. He had like changed up his accent a little bit here and there. So yeah, man. what I like about Youngster is that he can be conceptual. He can take a concept and then run with it and make you think about it and make you encapsulate you in the song, and not necessarily you just sitting and listening to him talk about, popping bottles at the club. So it's very thought provoking. It also makes you listen. It also makes you just pay attention a little bit more to his bars. So hey man, I'm a fan because it's Youngster. How can we not?
Nah, Youngster is a rapper, man. That's what he is, and that's what he does every time. He doesn't compromise, almost never. Maybe very, not very often, but he stays true to his raps, and you can hear him very comfortable on a track like this, where he's paying homage to somebody from Cape Town, first of all. So that's always dope because he's realized the responsibility he has to constantly put Cape Town on, keep them top of mind, keep the pride of the city at the forefront of everything that he does. Benny McCarthy, it's an easy W for him to speak on Benny and mesh those things out both conceptually and real. You know what I'm saying? Exactly like you were just talking about the Barclays, his rise all the way from, a kid in Cape Town to like coaching Manchester United. But the opening clip is when Benny was criticized about being a coach in South Africa. When he started coaching Orlando Pirates, people were like, what does Benny know about coaching? Whatever. Now they're like, tell them, does this look like an unsuccessful coach? Before the song starts, he plays that old clip. And it's great to hear that clip because that was even before Manchester United. You know what I'm saying? But way before he became the striker coach that side. So it's dope in every way that you look at it. You know what I'm saying? Paying homage. Him also saying, I'm on a similar trajectory as this guy. People always say, this guy can't rap. We can't hear what he's saying from Cape Town. He's got an accent. But here I am right now and I'm able to get national love, even though people always told me, nah, you're not gonna get past this, same way that his big homie went on to do. So as a metaphor and just as a real life thing of the actual practical things that he's talking about, I thought it was pretty dope. Yeah, man. Shout outs to Youngster CPT. And of course, we just want to hear more music, so keep on running with it, man. But with that, we do have to love and leave you. Yes, we do have to show love to our venue for today, Nostra, out in Bryanston, as we mentioned. According to Zero, this is where, the naughty things happen in the darkness, where you lose your Wi-Fi. Resides, When your boyfriend says he's going to Nostra, you must just be careful, my sister, because he might just not come back. But it's just nice times, it's nice vibes. The trap is jumping, the piano is popping, everything gumnandi like higher. And there's mirrors everywhere, so please, if you see yourself, stop walking. Wow. Sometimes you be like, are there two sepos in this bad boy? There's mirrors, this bad boy. If you start questioning yourself, it's time to go home. Anyway. Deeper, the depth of feel in the place feels like this club goes on forever. Like, that's a mirror. Careful. But big shout outs to DJ Zero as well for joining us. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Zero, what are you up to? I know you've just dropped a new single as well, so let us know what's the vibe with DJ Zero and where we can follow you. So the single's called Clean. It's with Loki, Touchline and Red Button. Those guys. Zero's got this thing where he releases these rap tracks, but they're like rap tracks from Soweto, where you're just like, oh my god, I'm always just like, how do you find the time? Where do you find it? Like, he always knows how to kind of put those tracks together, which is what I love about your songs. Yeah, so right now I'm currently working on an album. I want to operate the Pretoria Brewers as well, bring them closer. If there's Durban guys as well, I know I'm going to get Beast as well. But yeah, I've been in studio, man, since Jan, working on new music. Nice. Probably going to drop in like 3-4 months. Okay. Yeah. Shout out. Social media? Social media, DJ Zero SA, all social media platforms, bookings. Can't forget that one. The mixing is still clean. Don't worry about him. He's out here. Bookings.dj0sa@gmail.com. Shout out, man. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, guys. And of course, thank you for joining us as well on another episode of the POPcast. Make sure you join us same time, same place next week. We're gonna do it like we do it. Comment for you, subscribe, share. We out. Yes, sir.